There are songs that make you sad. And then there are songs that reach all the way down. Find the part of you you've been protecting and just hold it.
Gonna make it. We just can't fake it.
Tonight, we're counting down 10 of the saddest songs in classic R&B history. And some of them carry backstories so quietly devastating that when you hear them again after today, they will never sound the same. Welcome to Soul Lens. Let's get into it.
We just won't let it.
Number 10. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. Gladys Knight and the Pips, 1973.
Goodbye.
Here's something you've probably never stopped to think about. The saddest moment in a relationship isn't the breakup. It's the time right before it, when you both already know, and neither one of you will say it. Gladys Knight knew that moment, and in 1973, she sang it so completely, so honestly, that it became one of the most emotionally precise breakup songs in R&B history. Neither one of us came out in the spring of '73 and hit #1 on the R&B chart. Number 2, Pop. It was written by Jim Weatherly, the same man who later penned Midnight Train to Georgia. But where that song was about leaving and starting over, this one is about staying. Staying too long, staying out of love or habit, or maybe just fear of what comes after. Listen to the opening line. Sad to think we're not going to make it. Not angry, not dramatic, just sad, quietly certain. Like she'd already accepted it. Like the grief was already in her throat before the song even started.
Oh, he knows it's only me comes to saying goodbye. That's a simple word.
And here's what gets me about this one. This was Gladys Knight and the Pips' last single on Motown. They left the label right after this. So the song that closed a chapter of their career is literally about not being able to close a chapter. About holding on even when you know you should let go.
So we just...
That's a simple word that I just cannot say. You know that feeling. That limbo space where the love is still there, but the relationship already isn't. Where every conversation feels like a goodbye that nobody's willing to say out loud. Where you're both just waiting for the other one to be brave enough, or broken enough, to say what you're both already thinking. That's a different kind of heartbreak. And Gladys sang it like she'd lived every single day of it. The Pips hit those harmonies like a eulogy. Like they were mourning something that was technically still alive. Whether you've been in that relationship, or you were the one who finally said it first, you know exactly what she means. Some of you just went somewhere just now. I see you.
Goodbye.
Now here's something I want you to sit with for a second. Teddy Pendergrass was 22 years old when he recorded this. 22. And he's singing about the... That's what a gift sounds like. The arrangement is a masterpiece. The strings come in right when the emotion needs somewhere to go. Harold Melvin's direction. The Blue Notes harmonies holding Teddy up even as he's breaking down. That's a whole community of musicians saying collectively, we know this feeling too. And here's what's wild about the backstory. Harold Melvin never really got his due for what he built. He handpicked Teddy. He shaped the sound. But it was Teddy's voice on the label, Teddy's face on the posters, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Harold's name first, Harold's group. But Teddy was the one who became the star.
No, you won't.
They eventually split, and it was messy. All that tension, all that unresolved feeling between two people who built something together and couldn't hold it. Maybe that pain was always in the music. Maybe it was there from the very first take. If you've ever tried to make someone truly understand you and watch the exhaustion settle into their eyes, you know exactly what this song is really about. Number 7. The Tracks of My Tears. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, 1965.
You say I'm the life of the party, loud and hearty when
Paul McCartney has called this one of his all-time favorite songs. Linda Ronstadt covered it. It's been in more film soundtracks than you can count, and in 1965, it peaked at number 2 on the R&B chart. But here's what most people don't talk about. The Tracks of My Tears is not a sad song about loss. It's a sad song about performance, about the smile you wear so nobody knows, about showing up to the party, being the life of it, laughing at the right moments, looking fine, while you're dying inside.
since you left me, if you see me, yeah.
Smokey Robinson co-wrote this with Pete Moore and Marv Tarplin. And Tarplin, who was quietly one of the greatest guitarists in Motown history, wrote that opening guitar riff, that unmistakable descending line. It existed before there were even lyrics. The melody came first, the grief came second. And somehow that makes sense, because sometimes the feeling is there long before you have the words for it. Listen to what Smokey actually does vocally on this record.
Look a little closer and see, don't you know I need you.
He's not performing Heartbreak. He's performing composure and letting you hear what it costs him. Every time his voice catches, that's not technique, that's truth. And here's the thing about this kind of sadness, the kind where you're still showing up, still smiling, still functioning. It might be the loneliest kind there is, because nobody comes to check on you. You look fine, you seem fine. The only evidence is the tracks that the tears leave when you finally get home and take the mask off. If you've ever been to an event, a cookout, a party, a family gathering, and laughed and talked and played your role, and then sat in your car in the dark parking lot afterward and just let it out, then Smokey Robinson wasn't just writing a song in 1965. He was writing about a Tuesday night in your life. The ones who hurt the most are often the ones who smile the brightest. Smokey knew that. Number 6, Ain't No Sunshine, Bill Withers, 1971.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Wonder this.
Stay with me on this one, because the backstory here changes everything. Bill Withers was 32 years old in 1971. Not 22, not a prodigy, 32. He had been working on an assembly line at a factory, making components for commercial aircraft, when he finally got his first record deal. His debut album, Just As I Am, was produced by the legendary Booker T. Jones. And tucked inside it was a small song he'd written about watching a woman leave, inspired by a scene from the film Days of Wine and Roses. That song was Ain't No Sunshine. And here's the part that will permanently change how you hear it. That famous middle section. I know, I know, I know, I know, like repeated 26 times. That was not the real lyric. It was a placeholder. But Bill Withers fully intended to go back and write something there. Actual words, a real verse. He just needed to mark the space. Booker T. Jones heard it and said, "Leave it. Leave it exactly like that." Because those 26 repetitions of I know, that desperate, helpless, almost embarrassing acknowledgement that you know better and you still can't help yourself, are more honest than any lyric he could have ever written. And he knew it.
She goes away. Anytime.
The song won the Grammy for Best Rhythm and Blues Song in 1972. It's been sampled and covered hundreds of times. A teenage Michael Jackson covered it and sounded like he understood every single word. But the reason it lives forever is because I know is the most universal thing you can say about love that doesn't work.
She's gone too long. Anytime she goes, wonder if
You know it's not healthy. You know they're not coming back the way you need. You know you should stop waiting. You know. And you wait anyway. Bill Withers, by the way, was one of the most private, quietly dignified men in the history of this music. He retired from the industry in 1985 and never came back. He said he'd said what he had to say. And that right there, that's enough for me.
Morning's just a moment.
By 1979, the Commodores were one of the biggest acts in the world. Brick House, Slippery When Wet. They were a funk machine, a party band. They sold out arenas. They made you move. And then Lionel Richie sat down and wrote Still, and everything changed.
If you need me now.
Still hit #1 on the R&B chart, #1 pop, to tape. It's not about a breakup. It's not about someone who just left. It's about a love that already ended, months ago, maybe years ago. And the unbearable discovery and Bear It Strong helped complete it. The Temptations recorded it in 1967. It hit #1 R&B, #4 pop. And David Ruffin's lead vocal is still one of the greatest performances in the history of soul music. That raw, almost uncontrolled heartbreak right at the edge of his... 1967. New Year's Eve, just days before the song became a hit. He never heard it on the radio. He never knew what he'd made. He never saw what happened when David Ruffin opened his mouth and released what Penzabine had written into the world. Sit with that for a second. This was a man in the most profound pain of his life, who had no way to carry it except to write it down. And what he wrote down became one of the most beloved, most covered, most recognized expressions of heartbreak in American music history. Otis Redding recorded his version. The Rolling Stones covered it. It has been heard hundreds of millions of times.
Rain, let it rain, let it rain. Oh, how I wish that it would rain. Let it rain.
And Roger Penzabine never heard any of it. Now you know that when David Ruffin sings "I need rain to disguise the tears in my eyes," that wasn't a dramatic device. That was a real man's real prayer. Someone asking for something as simple and terrible as a way to not be seen falling apart. Music doesn't always protect the people who make it. Sometimes it outlives them entirely. All we can do is listen and remember and make sure his name gets said. Roger Penzabine wrote that song.
There's a tear in my eye. There's a sigh. Don't you play that song like that no more.
Play it for me again, y'all. Play the introduction again. I ain't ready.
That's not a performance. That's a man standing in front of thousands of people, using a song as the only honest language he had left. The crowd responds like it's a revival. People screaming, not fans screaming. The kind that comes from recognition, from being seen, from hearing something you felt your whole life but never had the words for. #2. A house is not a home. Luther Vandross, 1981. Burt Bacharach and Hal David wrote "A House is Not a Home" in 1964. Dionne Warwick recorded it first, and it was lovely, elegant, a Broadway-worthy meditation on loneliness. And then, in 1981, Luther Vandross got hold of it. And he didn't just cover it, he claimed it. He rebuilt it from the inside out and put something in it that the original never had. Because the original was written by songwriters, and Luther's version was recorded by a man who understood the specific loneliness in that lyric on a level that was almost too personal to share.
Still a chance, but I'm a chance.
Luther Vandross spent most of his adult life publicly private about his personal life. He never married. He rarely spoke about love in the direct biographical way other artists did. But he sang about it. Lord, did he sing about it. And in A House Is Not a Home, he found the exact words for one of the hardest human feelings to articulate. The difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be in a room full of people and be lonely. You can be in a house that is perfectly, objectively fine. And it is not a home. Because a home isn't a structure. It's a presence. It's a specific person, their specific energy, the way the whole space changes when they're in it.
Even when there's nothing, a room is still a room.
And when that person is gone, whether by death or leaving or just the slow fade of love, you can still be in the same building, but you are not in the same home. Luther re-recorded the song in 1994, and that version is also extraordinary. But the 1981 original, raw, slightly imperfect in the best way, with that orchestra building underneath him like the song itself is aching, that's the one.
Yes, now and then.
But he had a stroke in April of 2003. He never fully recovered. He passed on July 1st, 2005. And in the years since, every time A House Is Not a Home comes on, you understand it just a little bit differently. Because now you know what it means to miss the presence of someone who made a space feel like somewhere worth coming back to. That part still gets me. Every single time.